Hello, this is Chetan Narula reporting for Cricket World, and my current pit stop is Port Elizabeth, which is a nice little town, lovely little town. We have the Nelson Mandela Bay on the one side, and within the town, within the city, we have a lot of natural parks and reserves where people can go trekking and have a few wildlife adventures. And then, of course, we have this lovely little ground, St. George's Park. Just take a look behind me. That's the big stand on the right side. There are a couple other stands, very small covered area, and then towards my left there are a couple of open grass banks. Lovely, quaint little cricket ground. In fact, not just a cricket ground, but also a rugby ground. A little bit of history about it. It was the venue of the first cricket test match, which was held in 1889, and the first rugby test, which was held here in 1891. Now it'll play host to the fifth ODI between India and South Africa, or South Africa and India, in fact, because this is India's tour of South Africa. But the series now stands at 3-1. It's very, very intriguingly poised, and you can look at my jersey, and that is the reason, because South Africa maintained their unbeaten record in the pink ODI in Johannesburg. The return of AB de Villiers and a little bit of rain firing them to a victory, a 5-wicket victory. But before that, let's talk about the third ODI, which was held in Cape Town last week. India won that game by 124 runs, took an unassailable 3-0 lead in the series. Virat Kohli with his 34th ODI 100. It was a difficult pitch. It had a little bit of dual pace as the match went on, and then Virat Kohli, instead of going aggressive, downshifted his gears and scored 160, and in fact he remained not out. He ran 100 runs. He ran 70 more runs for his partners as well. So in total he ran 170 runs out of 303 for India. South Africa, well, they were bowled out for 179. Quite a few wickets there for the wrist spinners once again, as South Africa's struggles continue. A day before the game, I talked about the fact that they had 5 wrist spinners in their nets. It didn't really help much. Then came, of course, the pink day. This is a pink jersey that I bought here in 2013. And the current pink jersey is much prettier, but I'll have to make do with this. I paid 700 rands for it, so that's why I'm wearing this. On the game, well, I was doing commentary for SABC, so I had a pink bow and a pink suit, but it was a lovely little day. 289 for 7. Shikhar Dhawan scoring his 13th ODI 100 in his 100th ODI. And Virat Kohli, well, he almost got another 100. He was out for 75. But then came the rain in the 34th over, and India were restricted to 289 for 7. They have a few problems in their middle order. Kedar Jadhav was not playing. He has a hamstring injury. And then, of course, India were restricted because of their, I wouldn't say loose, but inconsistent middle order. And then South Africa, they were given a target of 202 because the rain came in the 8th over of their innings, and it restricted South Africa's innings as well. But then 28 overs game, it effectively became a 20-over game. But for India, they were a bit handicapped because Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Jasprit Bumrah had already bowled 4 overs each. But the surprising bit was that Chahal and Yadav took a bit of stick, Let's talk about what happened in that match. David Miller, he was dropped in the deep of Chahal. Next ball, he was bowled by Chahal, but that was a no ball, and then he went on to score 39 of 28 balls. But the big man, AB de Villiers, he scored 2 sixes as well, 26 of 18. Hardik Pandya got him out, and that was a bit of a turn. But then Heinrich Klaasen in his second ODI, 43 not out of 27 balls, and Dile Perklikwayo, 23 of 5 balls. He hit 3 monster sixes, as South Africa closed that game out with 15 balls to spare. The T20 nature of that game and the rain and a good batting wicket at the Wanderers, well, it all added to South Africa winning that game. It's too early to say whether they have been able to counter the threat of the Indian wrist spinners, which is what brings us to this setting, which brings us to Port Elizabeth, Can they bat out 50 overs? South Africa's middle order batsmen didn't have to think about batting out 50 overs in Johannesburg. It was just about staying on those 20 overs, perhaps allowed them to play a few more shots freely. But of course here, it's a 50-over game, weather permitting. There's a lot of cloud about. So that's the thing. And the pitch here also resembles a bit what we had in Durban, a bit damp-ish. I wouldn't say damp, but dampish. It's really brown. So again, might be a bit of purchase for the Indian wrist spinner. So it'll be very interesting how South Africa go about their innings here. As concerns India, of course, there's a lot of concern about their batting. It's very dependent on Kohli and Dhawan. Rohit Sharma has only scored 40 runs in 4 matches. Ajinkya Rahane hasn't kicked on after his first ODI half century. Hardik Pandya, Shreyas Iyer, MS Dhoni did score 42 or 43 balls, but again that middle order remains inconsistent. And I'm not talking about Dhoni here. I'm talking about the overall middle order. It remains inconsistent. More importantly, with Kedar Jadhav not playing, India do not have a 6th bowling option to fall back on should Hardik Pandya take some stick. So all in all, this is really finely poised. Another interesting nugget here, India have played 5 ODIs at this ground and they have not won a single game. More importantly, they have never crossed 200 runs at this ground. Their highest is 176 in 2006. So a lot of history against India at this ground, and they'll have to play out of their socks if they are going to win a first ODI series on South African soil. I'll be coming back to you after the 5th and 6th ODIs and tell you who actually won this ODI series. I mean, India are the only one who can win it. Can South Africa draw level? Can they make it 3-3? It's an intriguing last 2 ODIs in store for us.